V-Snack!
Hi, and welcome to our V-Snack series. My name is Phil Weinholz, Director of Production at ATX Event Systems, and joining me today is
Marcus Hutzel, Project Manager with ATX Event Systems.
Today we're going to be talking about load-in and what happens when. The very first thing we have to do is unlock the space and gain access. After that,
Then we need to mark the points, the rigging point in the ceiling. We need to make sure those are marked on the ground so that when we go to hang everything, we know where to lay everything out on the floor.
next we have to tape the space. This includes where the stage is, where front of house risers will be, where the drape line will be, and where the screens will inevitably be set up.
Then we've got to gather the crew. We've got to gather them, we've got to organize them, have a little meeting, talk about things, and then we've got to split them up into teams.
Next, what we have to do is secure the dock. A lot of times trucks will be left overnight, caterers will be showing up, all sorts of deliveries all hours of the day. After we secure the dock, we'll have our truck dump on it, dump all the gear all off the truck, get the next truck in, and so on.
Then we've got to prep the space. A lot of times the hotels or event venue will want their carpet protected, so we may have to lay down visqueen, which is a plastic-like material, or plywood or something to protect the floor. And at the same time, we're setting up a traffic control for all the cases that are coming in.
After that, we have to find the lifts, get the lifts into this space. We have to get the power tied in. We have to get the motors hung. We have to get the truss laid out on the floor, the truss bolted together. Once the truss is bolted together the first time, we go through and we do a safety check where we make sure it's actually super tight. After that, we get the truss wrapped and then floated. Right after that, we get the screens assembled, and then
we've got to talk to the house to get our front of house risers set. Why do we need front of house risers? Well, we need a place that's slightly above the rest of the audience so we can see the show and operate it properly. Then we can actually start building front of house, the main control area for the entire show. Then we can talk about building things like Video World.
And while they're doing that, another crew will be working on the lighting hang, the audio hang, and the projector hang.
Then we've got to do things like run the audio power and the signal. We've got to run the lighting power and the signal. We've got to run the video power and the signal.
And after that, we've got our gear hung, we've got our power run, we've got front of house built. Now we can test our gear, make sure everything's working. Then we can fix anything that's not working while it's still on the ground at working height. Then we can fly the gear out, get the truss all leveled and trimmed out exactly where we want it.
After everything's in the air, then we can think about getting our screens in place or the main projection or video surface for the show. Once all of those elements are placed, then we can place the stage where it needs to go.
Once the stage is placed, we'll ring out the audio system, test all the wireless frequencies, and place the DSMs where they can be seen by the presenters.
Then we can get the cameras set up and get the camera power and the camera signal run. Then we can set up comms. Comms are the headsets that you see many of us wearing. That's the way we quietly talk to each other so that all of the show operations go smoothly. Then once all the technical elements are in place, then we can pretty up the place by putting up drape if that's part of your show.
Next, we'll go in, we'll send someone up in the lift to focus all the lighting for a really precise and smooth wash so it looks great on camera. After that's done, the balance on the truss may have changed very slightly. So then the projectors get focused after that because they require much more fine tuning than the lighting. Then after that, the LD will start programming in the different looks and colors for your show.
And by this time, hopefully we have all the video and audio content that we can finally sit down and start putting up on the screens and hearing in the room.
And that's pretty much the very beginning parts of load-in. After this, we would let the clients come into the room. We would start rehearsals and stuff like that, which we'll go into in another V-Snack.
So as you can see, load-in is quite the orchestra of gear and people and moving all of these elements from place to place. Sometimes load-in can take 4 hours, sometimes it can take 12 to 15 hours, just depends on the size of the show. So all of these elements take time, energy, and expertise to set up.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you in the next one.
V-Snack!